she flat out said to me, you have got to stop. You know, you need to be patient with yourself and go take care of yourself. And there was something about that invitation of being patient with myself that like brought me to my knees. Like it was just so lost on me that that was even needed.
When you and I first met, you were in your transition,
Mm-hmm.
and to see you in your full life's work. I mean, like when we met, you're like, I want to lead groups. And here you are telling me about all these workshops you're doing. I am just so happy and grateful to hear this and the effect you're making on people's lives. It's so beautiful to see how far you've come.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
Steve. And thank you. I mean, that was a time in my life where moving from working in the financial services field where paycheck came very reliable and it was a nice one at that, to really following my soul calling. I knew it truly feels like a soul calling. It needed to do something different. And it was very different. I knew it was the quality of what I was going to be bringing to the world would be like something I had never done. And even though, of course, I'm still the same person. And so there was an essence of me in the financial services world, but bringing it into this new way of transformational coaching and consulting and running your own business. Like, you were such a great help to me because I had never done it. And there was a ton of fear and didn't even know the very first way to put one step in front of the other. And you were a great resource to me. And to this day, I thank my lucky stars that we met and that you gave me a structure to help me think about my gifts, know how to talk to potential new clients. And I'm happy to say, like, my business continues to grow every single year, and I'm not working hard to find the business. They're finding their way to me. And it's just been really beautiful with your guidance. So thank you.
You're welcome, Jillia. And that's why I'm so filled with joy. It's like you're seeing the fruits of our labor together kind of, come to this point. So
Yeah.
it's so beautiful. And I want to talk about that transition, because I think so many people, you and I both know it, people are living, they're working to make a living instead of actually living their great work. And you 23 years of doing the corporate gig, and then you started to realize that wasn't where your heart wanted to go. This kind of goes back to that mind and heart and body all mixed together. But what was the moment? Because I'm sure there's people out there that are living that way, right? It's like their greatness is in the closet. It's a hobby on the side. And as the years go by, you have less energy to even take that hobby out. And, so then ultimately you start, living ultimately, I guess, someone else's life, I think in
Yeah.
a way. Right. So if we like slow down time a little bit, if you're willing to like go back, cause I think it's helpful for other people making this decision. Like what was there like a final straw, or like what triggered the final thing? Like, okay, I'm doing this.
Yeah. So I was responsible for a region, an office, a team, some of the greatest accounts, the largest accounts at the firm. So my hand was in a lot of different things, and the stress continued to mount, and the work hours continued to grow. The balance continued to get off balance. And ultimately my health was impacted, and I'll save you the gory details, but there was a real wake-up call to my own well-being physically. And that was it. That was the last straw. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you make or how great your team is or who you love working with from a like collaboration perspective. If your well-being is being compromised, then and I was making choices to stay in those patterns, and I had created those patterns. So where was my own workaholism not letting me say, okay, this is good enough? Where was I needing to go the additional 5, 10, 15, 20 miles for the client, for the company, for my boss, for my teams? Like, it was a very much out of service. And also the ego needed to do a good job. And so it was terrifying to just say, all right, ego, like check this at the door and go like take care of your body, which I did for the next year before I even thought about what I was going to do next. But another moment that kind of coincided with that was one of my clients who was a VP HR of a global company. And she could hear the kind of the deconstruction that was starting to happen. And she flat out said to me, you have got to stop. You know, you need to be patient with yourself and go take care of yourself. And there was something about that invitation of being patient with myself that like brought me to my knees. Like it was just so lost on me that that was even needed. And I think so many leaders are working their tails off for, you know, missions that either are important to them or not important to them, or has gone sideways. Maybe it used to and it doesn't anymore. Right. And they just don't even know it anymore. So that's my personal story. And I think to people who know that something needs to be different or something needs to change. I heard this at a workshop and then the line was this, after a whole bunch of people shared around, you know, being on the cusp of change. Somebody said, what has totally struck me is that everybody knows what change they want to make. It's not that they don't know. They know. They're just scared to do it. Right. They're just scared to do it. And somebody else added the comment, it has nothing to do with the amount of money you have in the bank. Very little to do with the money that you have in the bank, and almost everything to do with courage. And those two comments together, I was like, shit, I'm just scared.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are before.
Did you hear that after you made this decision? Was this like a post thing just confirming what you did, or did you actually hear that before you made this decision? Just curious.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the timing. I was needing to take care of my medical challenges. And then in addition to that, I think I went to a workshop on change. It's like a one-day afternoon.
Wow.
And I remember, Steve, I went into that. I mean, if you would have known me in the finance world, you know, like captain of my ship, knowing what I'm doing, like loving everybody, like powerfully making changes, suggesting things, thought leader, like in my body, in terms of like, there I am. I went to this thing. I was broken. I didn't even know like what to say I was doing. I was directionless. I was so small, you know, and there was something about needing to like be on your knees at a time when you're terrified to make that change, where then those voices were expressed. And I was like, yeah, I'm scared. Somebody take my hand and help me through this. Wow. And that's why we need coaches. That's why we need mentors. That's why somebody from the outside really helps, because it's almost impossible to do it by yourself. I mean, you can, absolutely. We're self-empowered, and I did step away by myself, but then I needed many resources, you know, including you.
Well, you'd probably just had those triggers, like a client saying that. So even though you didn't directly ask for the help maybe, and you didn't hire quote unquote a mentor or coach, you had these little like earth angels or whatever you want to call it. They were like, ding, ding. And like the lights were lighting up a little path for you to make your things. Hey there, I want to give you something really big. It's called Clear Path to Customers. It's the way that we get the right language to get the right client. I like to call them your wow clients, so that you can have more results, more revenue, more raving fans, and more referrals. And I want to give this to you absolutely free. And all you have to do is go to stevenapolitan.com to check it out, or you can look at the description here. We'll put the details there. As always, remember, choose gratitude and create freedom.